Hey guys, J-Man here. I just came off of the stream with Clobberin Times talking about a Bob Haney comic, and I've been wanting to do something with Superboy, so I thought why not read some Superboy comics. So Clobby's going to be going live in about an hour from now, so I thought, why not? I got an hour to kill. Let's look at some Superboy comics and just have fun going through. We'll go through as many as we can, I suppose, until the time is up. So I thought it might be a lot of fun to do that. All right. Okay, so let's do my share my screen here. And let me put it to that. And before we start, just we'll do a quick updates. Wednesday night, I'm going to be going live talking about some wrestling with Steve. And then Friday, we're going to be doing our 80s versus tournament. So that'll be this Friday. All right. Let's take a look at some Superboys. So this is Superboy number 1. I really like Superboy, I always have. And I've been collecting the issues in single form. I'm going to try to get them all. I'm going to try to get every Superboy comic from the post or from the pre-crisis Superboy at least. So let's take a look here. All right. Okay, so this is number 1. This is like a reprint, obviously. Superboy number 1. And this kid's like, Superman, what were you like when you were a boy? He's like, if that's what you'd like to know, let's look inside. So here's Superman opening up the page here. So here we go. For just the first, this is Superboy number 1. It's not the first appearance of Superboy, but it's Superboy number 1 with his own comic. So this is the adventures of Superman when he was a boy. So this is the unusual story of a man who could see into the future with a jewel stolen from a mystic idol's head. Brandar the Great could predict anyone's future, even Superboy's. So this is just setting you up. I like the art here. This is really cool. So there's Superboy looking into the future of Superman. And basically, it starts out here with Clark and Lois coming back. They're like, oh, wasn't Ray Garble Divine Clark? Yeah, sounds great. And it's like, oh no, gunfire. So then, typical Clark fashion, he kind of goes off to the side here and is like, well, I'm going to change into Superman. So he changes into Superman, flies in. Here comes these robbers. It's like a robbery. And there you go, the crooks now. I've got to stop them. So it's like, boom, he flies in. And he like literally uses this like crane thing here to like scoop them up. I don't know why he couldn't just fly and grab them, but anyways, that's what he does. He's like and then he's like spins them around here. And then a policeman's been shot, so he's trying to help this guy out. His pulse is very weak. I better forget about those crooks and get the poor fellow to a hospital fast. So that's cool. This is the typical, I've got to save the guy first. That's my first concern. So this is still Superman, right? He brings him to the hospital and he brings him to the nurse. And it's like, oh, we operated. So it's like minutes later outside the operating room. So he's waiting and he's like, oh, you saved his life. It's like, Superman, oh, well, that's great. So then this nurse comes out. And she's like, hey, that's funny. She seems so familiar. He's like, great Scott, she's Margot Griffiths. Little Margot, I knew her when I was Superboy. So here he's now mentioning the fact that he was Superboy. And he's like, we're going to have like a little bit of a flashback here. So Superman stares at the girl. Her face blurs and fades. And Superman's mind retreats into the past, backward. So it keeps going on. Yeah, hey, Phantom. I'm just doing a random thing. I'm just looking at Superboy. We're reading some Superboy comics. I'm just doing this to kill time because we've got Clobby. Clobby's going to go live in, like an hour? So I won't stay too long. I'm just going through I'm just reading Superboy number 1. I love Superboy. I thought I'd go through some of the comics. So might just do 2 issues and then just stop right there. So thanks for coming in. Anyway, so now we're getting a flashback here to Superboy in school, and he's remembering this girl, Margot. I haven't read this in a while, so I'm just kind of going through it. You can take your seat, Margot, blah, blah, blah. So she's like, when I grow up, I want to be a nurse. And now we know that she actually becomes one. So Clark is basically saying, I want to be a newspaper reporter. So someday I'll make good at it, which we know that happens. And so there's just more talking. You come to my mother's party tonight, blah, blah, blah. So here's our introduction to Brandar, who has this crystal thingy, and he can see the future. So as Brandar speaks, he displays a fantastic jewel, a gem that seems to glow with an eerie flame. So this is the idol of Choktuk, and the future holds no secrets from Brandar. So anyone who wishes to know what fate awaits him, speak, and through the jewel I will answer. So Clark is nervous because it's like, well, I wonder what he'd say if he knew I was Superboy. So he says, for you, young man, I predict that someday great fame will be yours. The whole world will know of you. So it's like, oh my God, I wonder, does he know? Now he talks to Margot and he's like, for you, on your 21st birthday, Margot Griffiths will cease to exist. And there's a little bit of a stinger with that. And she's like, oh no. And then this guy's, oh, come on, Brandar, these predictions are just for the distant future. Tell us something that'll happen soon. He's like, okay. So he's like, he looks at the blackboard. He's like, I will pass the eye of Chuktuk and then see what happens. So then now you've got these predictions. So tomorrow, the following shall come to pass. Dr. Jekyll will turn into Mr. Hyde. The first lady of the town will lose her crown. And East will meet West at sundown. It's like, okay, so it's like, enough. Brandar will predict no more. I must go. It's like, okay, that blackboard stunt is an old magician's trick. So there you go. Yep, that is what. Did you read Ahead, Phantom, or did you know that? That's crazy if you knew that. She gets married. That's what happens. Yes, and then she's not Margot Griffiths anymore. So that's a spoiler. So Superboy's concerned about it. Or Superman, or I guess Clark, sorry, turns into Superboy. So Dr. Jekyll's dual personality in Robert Louis Stevenson's story. So Mr. Hyde was the evil side of his nature, but I suppose it could apply to the Mayor Haskins. So the mayor steals funds and disappears. So it's like, I guess he's like, that's a bit weak. The first lady, he goes over here, and we've got this guy. You're remembering? Okay, I haven't read. Yeah, I'm just going through these really basic. I'm not going to really go through the whole thing. I haven't read this in a long time, and I don't feel like really reading it out loud to everybody, but we'll just go through it a bit. I was going to do a completely silent stream and just kind of scroll through and read it live and then let people read along with me. But anyway, so the bridge is going to crush the Queen Felice, I guess, unless I do something about it. So he zooms, and phew, just made it in time. Oh, my X-ray vision shows me there's a car on the bridge and the Mayor Haskins is in it. Okay, here comes Superboy. He saves everybody. So now basically he's like, okay, so something's going on here. I better go talk to this Brandar guy. He's like, I want the whole story of your mysterious jewel. So he's like, I took it from the idol Chuktuk in Indonesia. Okay. So he made a fortune predicting stuff. That's fine. The worshippers of the jewel say that he who holds the jewel will meet an untimely death. I never believed it, but last night at the party, I had a sudden vision of my death. So we're saved. Superboy saved us. Yeah. Oh, saved us? Okay. Maybe I can Brandar. Maybe I can't Brandar, but it is almost sundown. I've got to check on your third prediction. So now Brandar is running out. I don't know what. This is just so insane. He just runs out. He's all nervous. I've got to get away. My death is coming for me. It's like he was fine earlier. Like, didn't he know it was coming today? So he runs out and I guess he gets smashed. So Superboy is over here doing this railroad thing, and this is the weirdest way to save it. So he basically is cutting these trees down with his hands. So he's flying and cutting them down. And he's like, I still got a few seconds to spare. I have enough time to build a new railroad spur out of these tall timbers. It's like, okay. So he literally creates this thing. I mean, this is insane. Like, he could not have found a better way. Now they can keep coming, and I better lend a little support to this homemade spur of mine. I don't know. I wonder if Superman, the movie, because he's got that thing where he lays down. I always find too with Superboy, they always draw him in this kind of position when he's flying or leaping, like his like one leg is here and he's got like this is a lot of. I've only read the first 4 or 5 of Superboy. Oh, Superboy does a lot of questionable things. There'd be like so many. If there's one, I don't know if we'll get to it today, but where he literally is taking photographs of a kid in a bathtub, and you're just like, okay. I posted that on my Twitter. It was really weird. So, okay, so Brandar dies anyways, which was predicted. So poor Brandar, if he hadn't been so terrified by this jewel, he wouldn't have been killed in that accident. The jewel has brought enough bad luck. I'm going to get rid of it forever. Yeah, he grabbed some trees and built something. It was weird. All right, so there's the idol of Chuck. So he just goes to wherever that is, and the jewel belongs. I'm going to see that I guess back there. So he can see where it is. I don't know, and he throws it like around the world, and it's directly into the target. I mean, that is pretty epic. The guy threw the jewel across the world. There's the trajectory, and it goes right into the forehead. Wow. And then he comes back, and then so this is the next day, and it's like now let's return to the present. I know it didn't shatter. That's weird. And okay, so we forward again Superman's mind, traveling through the years since the school days, and he is past, and he recognized Margot Griffiths. I'll never forgive myself, Frank. Brander's prediction about me came true. The whole world does know about me, and there's only one prediction left unfulfilled, the one about Margot. And that's where we realize that Margot actually got married. But hold on a second. Superman, where are you going? Don't worry, I'll find that ambulance and Dr. Vaughn. And since Miss Griffiths is so worried, she may as well come along for the ride. So he just scoops her up. All right, so now he picks up so he picks her up, and then later, forget about Brandar and marry me, Margot. His dire prediction about your 21st birthday won't come true. So see, that's the whole thing. So he was trying to keep her safe, and then yes, so she gets married, and it's like, I never realized it before. Prediction of the future. So it's true. So she is now no longer Margot. So she doesn't exist anymore. So that was the big stinger about that one. So that's the first Superboy solo story. Basically, it's a bunch of predictions, and Superboy, they all come true, but Superboy tries to like help out as much as he can. What the heck is this? Oh, rocket plane, cool. You got some of these other random comics here, Shorty, which we can skip. All right, so this is number 2, the Boy Vandals. So this is nice. This is really nice. So we've got these 3 hooligans here who are just causing trouble for no reason. They're just, being vandals, and they're having fun and throwing crap around and making trouble. And Clark's just like, this is the idea of vandalism. The idea of fun is vandalism. Their idea of fun is vandalism. I better follow them. So he's kind of making sure they don't get into trouble. Transforms into Superboy. So they're just running amok here. Like there's like a car. There's like, whoa, he flips this thing, and it's like, phew, we got to run away. The car is in a cinch. Okay, so we're safe now. Blah blah blah. So Superboy's just like, lucky I heard that with that, like they're gonna go to this camp and they're gonna they're just gonna mess around there. So Superboy's like, well, I better go there and make sure they're safe. So this is weird here. He's trying to remove this sign and put it somewhere else to guide them in a different way. The town looks all right, but it's as shaky as a cardboard city, but they won't know that. So like he lures them to like a different place, like to a ghost town, which is so weird. So now they're just destroying stuff for fun. And then, okay, so I don't know what happened here, but they break this window, and I guess that's enough to collapse this entire building, which is crazy. Yeah, I think when you start destroying buildings, you're no longer just having fun, right? So Superboy stops it here, and then they're destroying more shit. Hey, this is all okay today. All this stuff would be okay today. They would just, say that they're just protesting or whatever. So the statue comes down, Superboy saves them. So all this stuff's going on now. Superboy didn't know this, but there's actually an actual criminal element here in this town, and Superboy didn't know about it. So he inadvertently brought these kids here, but there actually is criminals here. So the city's just getting destroyed, and Superman's trying to kind of protect these guys, and they run into the bad guys here. So they've got a gun on them. So Superboy's like, I can't just charge down. One of them might get shot, right? So look at this kid. This kid's like, oh shit, this kid's scared. So then Superboy, if those crooks are leaving, I'll have a trap ready to catch them without harming the young vandals. So he's creating this entire thing here. So far, this issue is Superboy creating a lot of weird things that he's just doing. They were just running wild. So it's just like him creating this random stuff. I'm going to move my mic down here. Yeah, so Superboy's just creating this random stuff in this issue. Okay, so they had a speedboat here, and that's the way they left it with their prisoners. Yeah, sure. Here they go. Now there's a tank all of a sudden. We're going to show you brats, the real thing. So the kids, the bad guys are saying, okay, kids, you thought you were cool. We'll show you some really bad stuff. So now they've got this tank, and they're just destroying stuff. This is crazy. See, here you go with the leg up again, with the knee up, Superboy. So Superboy again, making this big thing here. So I only need that locomotive, a dynamo from the powerhouse, and a few miles of wire. So again, Superboy making an object he spins around here, makes this thing so that he can move the train. Luckily, this railroad runs through the town, and there the vandals are like, what the hell? What's happened? We're flying. Whoa. I mean, so he's created this magnet here to suck the tank. Yeah, I don't think, tanks are just left around. That was so weird. Superboy, save us from those crooks. Blah, blah. He saves them, and it's like, there you go. It's like, you shouldn't be smashing shit up. And they're like, okay. There you go. They learned their lesson. Now we got more. Some other random comics. So you usually got three. I think you get 3 stories here. You usually get three stories in these first issues. I think this one was probably the best one because it has an antagonist. So this is Superboy meets Mighty Boy. So here's Mighty Boy, which actually wrote his name out. So this is this thing where they've got this carnival set up, and they're doing some carnival games and banging it and whatever. And so this kid comes and smashes the thing. It's like, wow. So then they set up this inside. This is all just a gag. I'm ruining it for you right off the bat. They're pretending that this kid they're giving him superpowers, but they're really not giving him superpowers. So they rig all this stuff so it looks like he can smash through everything. He's like, wow, I must be really strong. Now, I think that if you hit something, you still be able to feel it in some way of you touching. So it just seems kind of weird that that even works. But anyway. So seeing he stops this train and everyone's like, wow, like this guy's the strongest boy in the world. And, you know, it's like, I love how this one guy comes out of nowhere and then everyone forgets about Superboy and they're just like, yeah, this guy's the best. So then Clark is eating his cereal or whatever he's doing here. And he reads about it and he gets a challenge. So basically, Mighty Boy has challenged Superboy to see who's the best. So he comes in. And here they're doing different feats of strength. So he's lifting these elephants. He's like, wow, 12 elephants. So Superboy lifts 6 elephants. Mighty Boy lifts 12. I don't know why they didn't give Superboy a chance to lift 12, but anyway, he's punching this thing. This is one of those things that doesn't fall. Like it's like, yeah, I can't remember what they're called. And he punches it and comes back. Mighty Boy just smashes it over. Superboy kicks a football. And then Mighty Boy kicks it so far out. It's like, all right, fine. And Superboy looks out into space and it's floating in space. Like, wow, like, you know, Mighty Boy really is the best. They're pulling these trains and Mighty Boy not trains, they're pulling these things and Mighty Boy can pull his faster, better and stronger. And Superboy's like, okay, you won, Mighty Boy. Congratulations. Thanks, Superboy. He's like, gosh, I sure feel sorry for him. Superboy's been my hero all my life. Gosh. And then you find out he's doing autographs. And how did he compensate for the train's momentum? I have no idea. So yeah, Mighty Boy is there and he hears that, oh, it's all a bunch of crap. So it was all a lie. So these crooks have all tricked him. Superboy goes back to kind of investigate what happened, and he starts to see it's like, okay, here's all the explanations. Some of them are a bit weak. Here's all the explanations of how he did everything, and they're like, okay, so it wasn't really superpowers, and now he's stuck here. And they're like, okay, they grab the safe. So these guys basically kidnap the kid, and they're like, well, we want you to open up the safe because you have superpowers, but he really doesn't have any superpowers. So then they're like, okay, and then he's with the safe, and the safe goes up, but it's actually Superboy. And basically, it's supposed to be like Superboy was so fast that they couldn't even see him. That's a common theme in these early Superboy comics. He's so fast that sometimes people can't even see him grab a thing and fly off. And he's like, okay, come on. And he's like, yippee. And then Superboy comes and you know, like puts these guys like, okay, look, he makes okay, again, Superboy making weird things. This is like, we need to have like a list, a drinking game every time Superboy makes some kind of weird object. So he's got liquid glass here, and he's like, when I finish this, crime will really be bottled up for a while. So he made this like giant like glass jar. I mean, this is insane. He made a glass, like, just grab them. Like, why did you have to make this? So there you go. That's it. And then these guys are now in jail. So that is Superboy issue number 1. You got 3 stories here. I think, Fanty, what was your favorite, if you're still with me? So you got the first one, which is the predictions of Brandar. And then you've got the Boy Vandals. That was the second one. And then the third one was Mighty Boy. I think maybe Mighty Boy is my favorite one because there's more like, I like the idea of them challenging each other, like Superboy is challenging, or Mighty Boy's challenging Superboy. So I think that's kind of neater to me. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. What do you think? This is just too weird. Yeah, Mighty Boy was the best one. That's what I was thinking too. But pretty good. All right, what time is it? 9:15. So Clobby's out soon. I think I'll probably just end it there. So episode 1, we did issue 1. Maybe I'll do some more of these random streams. Just people can go through it later on and go through it. I mean, I love Superboy. I'm collecting these issues, so I don't have Superboy #1, obviously, but I would plan. I'd like to. I wouldn't mind getting Superboy #1 if I could somehow find a copy that's under under a few $1,000s or whatever. But there you go, Superboy #1. But if you're watching this later on, let me know what you thought of Superboy. I'm going to keep it short, under half an hour. We did issue 1. Maybe we'll do issue 2 on another night. And if these catch on, we can do some more Superboys. It's one of my favorite characters. So that is it, guys. Remember that this Friday is going to be the 80s Fantasy Versus. So that's we're going to pick the final 2. So we're going to decide that. This is the 4. The final 4 are down here. So we're going to pick the final 2 on Friday. So, all right, guys, that is it. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
Hey friends, you've just been listening to J-Man, and he is the smartest person who ever lived. So make sure you like and subscribe.